This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. The Sawyer County Board of Supervisors is expected to consider the creation of a Callahan Mud Lake District again at their February meeting. The board recently discussed the proposal and voted to accept the Land, Water, and Forest Resources Committee findings on the potential designation. Officials say the postponement allowed residents to attend another webinar on lake districts, which could influence their input in the February meeting. The Board of Supervisors has until May 6th to make a decision on the Lake District petition. A 21-year-old Duluth man has been charged in relation to a shooting near Tower Avenue in Superior earlier this month. According to court documents, 21-year-old Sadua Boyd was charged with aggravated battery, use of a dangerous weapon, as well as resisting and obstructing an officer. The alleged shooting occurred on January 16th at around 10 p.m. at an apartment complex near the intersection of Tower Avenue and North 37th Street. Authorities say Boyd and the victim knew each other, and they were able to locate Boyd shortly after the incident. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation Division of Motor Vehicles has announced a new special license plate for the Wisconsin County Forests Association. According to a press release, residents can obtain the new plates by committing a $25 annual donation to the organization, which promotes sustainable forest management across the state. Residents will also have to pay an additional one-time $15 issuance fee, the regular vehicle registration fee, and an extra $15 each year if they want to personalize the special plate. A Clear Lake man is facing up to 6 years in prison after being accused of leading authorities on a high-speed chase in Barron County. According to court documents, 49-year-old Christopher Kuhl was charged with attempting to flee an officer and possession of methamphetamine. He's accused of leading authorities on a 19-mile-long chase at speeds of 85 miles per hour after a deputy recognized him while searching for another wanted man. Kuhl allegedly consumed methamphetamine during the chase and later told officers he was on meth. Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Brian Hagedorn says he will not participate in the pending case regarding the constitutionality of Act 10. Justice Hagedorn drafted the law himself when operating as chief legal counsel for former Governor Scott Walker and said the law demands that he recuse himself from the case. State Republicans have also called on Supreme Court Justice Janet Protasiewicz to recuse herself after calling Act 10 unconstitutional during her campaign. If both recuse themselves, the court would have a 3-2 liberal majority. With the tax season underway in Wisconsin, officials are reminding eligible residents that they can utilize the Internal Revenue Service's direct file system for free. Residents who have an income of under $200,000 per year and those claiming itemized deductions are eligible to use the direct file system. Officials say the process is fast and secure and are hoping all eligible residents receive the Earned Income Tax Credit. Wisconsin residents can confirm their eligibility for the free service at directfile.irs.com. The Salvation Army is looking to use tiny homes as transitional housing for the unhoused population in Barron County. Officials say the organization received a donation of 2 tiny homes ready for occupants, which sparked the idea to create a tiny home community. The organization had previously attempted to convert a former nursing home into transitional housing after purchasing the property in 2021. Long-term construction issues forced them to abandon that project. They now plan to use that land for the tiny homes. A former school in Superior could soon become an affordable housing complex. City officials are pursuing a plan to convert the former Lake Superior Elementary School into an affordable housing complex featuring 50 units. The move comes less than a year after the school was permanently closed due to budget constraints. The Redevelopment Authority has committed $300,000 in grant funding for the project, and the city's Affordable Housing Fund has committed another $500,000 in development loans for it. The American Lung Association has released its State of Tobacco Control Report, and Wisconsin received mostly failing grades. Wisconsin received 3 Fs for access to cessation services, availability of flavored tobacco products, and tobacco prevention and cessation funding. The state also received a D in state tobacco taxes, but did receive a B grade for its smoke-free air laws. According to health data, tobacco is the #1 cause of death in Wisconsin, with more than 7,800 people dying each year. A pair of state Republicans have introduced a bill that would limit what flags are allowed to be flown at government buildings. State Representative David Steffen and State Senator Eric Wimberg introduced the legislation, which would only allow the U.S. flag, state flag, POW/MIA flag, and the official flags of the armed forces to be flown at the sites. If local municipalities wanted to fly another flag, it would require a 3/4 vote from elected officials. Critics say the proposal is meant to target the Pride flag or Black Lives Matter flag. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
The Packers lose a defensive coach. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Packers linebacker and run defense coordinator Anthony Campanelli is leaving Green Bay to become defensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Campanelli asked what's one of the biggest things he's learned as an NFL assistant coach.
Everybody has a different personality. I think that's part of being a coach is understanding that you don't coach everybody the exact same way. It just doesn't work that way.
On offense, former Vikings quarterback Sean Mannion expected to become Jordan Love's quarterback coach. Tom Clements retired last week. NBA, the Bucks in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. Damian Lillard named to the All-Star team as a reserve. Lillard talked about missing out on a chance to meet former UFC boxing champ Conor McGregor at the Jazz game the other night.
I didn't even know he was there. That's what was crazy. It's like we came back in here after the game and they was talking about it and I didn't even see him. And I'm a big Conor McGregor fan too, so I would have had some questions for him.
That's the Bucks' Damian Lillard. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Well, the murder weapon was never recovered, and there were no eyewitnesses, but most people still think O.J. did it, including O.J. According to Simpson's doctor, Simpson took the truth to his grave. Why is there yet another docuseries about this horribly tragic true crime story? Because obviously people can't get enough of it. American Manhunt, O.J. Simpson, is a new 4-part docuseries featuring interviews with police, lawyers who were on the case, Simpson's agent, and Ron Goldman's sister, Kim. American Manhunt is available on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, as we often do, when launching a new talk show, it's important to somehow make it unique and give it an identity separate from other talk shows. Comedian John Mulaney will host a talker on the streamer that has been the home to many of his stand-up comedy specials. Not many details have been released, and that is on purpose, according to Mulaney, who says this was the perfect match because he never wanted to do a talk show, and Netflix was getting out of the talk show game. I'm officially curious. 36 years ago, if you went to see the movie When Harry Met Sally, you got to see Meg Ryan proving that a woman can fake a really good time without the man knowing. If you read between the lines, you will probably remember the iconic scene set in an NYC deli. The famous commercial is being recreated for the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool, but with the same flirty and much older actors. Gross. It was only a matter of time, as there is nothing Americans want to see more than old people fake climaxing. Enjoy the game, but not too much. There is no statute of limitations on how far back Hollywood will go for a remake, as evidenced by the latest news that a Little House on the Prairie reboot is in the works, according to TVSeriesFinale.com. Really? They couldn't pick a better name? The first season of the show, that was originally based on the books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, will focus on the Ingalls family's move to Kansas. When the show drops, it will be on Netflix. Headed to the movies this weekend, the mystery thriller Companion opens in wide release, and the critics are digging it. It's pulling a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, where it mentions the film is brought to you by the makers of The Notebook and the horrifying Barbarian, making Companion a different kind of love story. The film stars Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. If you're looking to keep the kids occupied, check out the film Dogman. Dogman follows a police canine officer and his human partner who are injured on the job. To save their lives, the surgeons make them one, like in the same man-dog body. Like he could tell himself to roll over, or housebreak himself, or catch his own frisbee. It might sound a little science fiction-y, but it's a bona fide kids movie rated PG and pulling a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. If that's not convincing enough, the caption on the poster reads, "Part dog, part man, all hero." They sound like a very good boy. Let's go to the movies. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Maybe not the record warmth we had yesterday, but still a nice winter day with sunny skies and a high of 38. For tonight, increasing clouds and lows near 20. On Saturday, a bit of light snow possible in the afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies and breezy with a high of 33. Right now, it's 26 degrees.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.